Howdy folks, it's Angel the Hunting Gear Guy, and this is the Norinco Type 81 SR. It's a semi-automatic, 7.62 by 39, made in China. You can see that my chamber is empty and my magazine's empty, so why don't we take a closer look at this thing. Now, I've already done a video on the Type 81, so I'm not going to repeat what I mentioned in that review. Instead, I'll talk more specifically about what's different with this gun. And this is one of the primary things. It's got this Dragunov SVD style stock on it that is a little bit short. So the length of pull on it is just a little bit short for me. I've got my arm like way out there. And if we wanted to do like the movement like to your arm to the trigger, yeah, I've got quite a few inches in there, so it'd be good for like if you got shorter arms, it'd be great for that. We still have that crappy rear sight. I'll show a picture for kind of what the sight picture looks on there, but one of the improvements that they've put onto it is that it's kind of ready for a side plate. So this one I bought from B3 Designs, 3-bar D Designs, and without this plate on here, there's a couple of like threaded pins that kind of go through, and they are connected to these two Allen screws here. So let's say you put a side plate on here, and then with a side plate, you can either go like for like Dragunov style optics or AK style. This rail is good for like AK style stuff to go on there and, you know, put on the side here. So that's one option. Now from the factory, it's kind of the cheek relief cheek rest is good for the iron sights. So if you need a little bit more height, which you will if you put on a side mount, because they have to sit quite a bit higher on the receiver here, you're going to need to put a cheek piece on. And it comes with this, I don't know if I want to call it cute. It looks great. It looks like a really nice little adapter, and you kind of just slap it on the side. I'm going to go on the other side there. It is directional. And then you just kind of buckle it on there. And then we just kind of latch it on there, holds it nice and tight. And you can see there that it's actually a little bit more on one side than the other. You can just flip it around if you're a lefty. And that I can't use the iron sights anymore now because I'm way too high on it, but this would be good if I was running a scope. Now, one of the cool things about the Norinco version, okay, 7.62 by 39, the ammo is cheap. 7.62 by 54R would be cool, but this system's not built for it. One of the cool things about these, though, is that these mags do, okay, yeah, they're standard rock and lock style, and they are last shot hold open. So they'll hold the bolt back, and you can pull the magazine out, grab another mag, rock and lock it in there, and then let the bolt go to reload it. So that's pretty cool. You can get these shorty mags, you can get longer ones. In Canada, it doesn't matter, though, because they're all limited to 5 here because they're all rifle magazines. So even this guy here, only 5 rounds, or the longer ones, 5 rounds. AK mags, 5 rounds, 5 rounds, 5 rounds. Now our safety is on the right side of the firearm. There it is on fire. There it's on safe. So kind of similar to their Type 97, really. We do have a trigger overstop screw here that you'd want to set and then tighten up to wherever is right for your rifle. And the trigger press thing on this thing isn't that bad, so I'll just show you that right there. So we got a little bit of take up, and then that's it. You can see the over travel screw is set very nicely. Let's see what that comes out to on my trigger pull gauge here, just in pounds. Let's see what we get. Okay, so there's the take up, creeping in, and just over 7 pounds there. So that's fine for a rifle like this. The other thing that's I would say is good with a rifle like this, reliability. Reliability with 7.62 by 39 was fantastic with this thing. I did find, where's my scope mount? I don't know where my scope mount is. With the scope mount on here, the rounds want to eject basically like 12 o'clock, like straight up out of the action. If you run a scope on this thing and your scope or your rail sits really low and covers this area here, what you're going to have happen is as it rocks those cases out, they may bounce and then bounce back into the action. So a really tall optic or an optic that sits further to the back or a rail that doesn't cover this is going to give you, or cause that problem for you. Whereas something that's covering that area might start to give you those issues. Like I mentioned in the Type 81 review, we've got that drum sight on the back here, so you can set the distance with this. And from the factory, accurate. I was making hits out at 2 and 300 with this thing, just with the iron sights, just fine. If you want to, you can change the gas setting here. So right now it was on 1. I just moved it over. You can just use like a round and you can turn it to the side. So that's on 1. So 1 would be like normal operation, 0 is off, and then 2 would be for it's dirty, muddy, carboned up, and you need it to work right now. So it's gonna run hot if you put it on number 2. So I just set it back to number 1 there, and there we go. We also have a sling swivel just on the left-hand side here. So the idea here is that you would get a sling that attaches to this little guy. So probably like one of those dog collars, and then the real sling. And then on the other side, loop it around this guy here. So that 2-point is going to allow you to carry it something like, well, it would probably get down to about here. Because you could go around your back to the front and just kind of carry it across your front like that, right? At the front, we are threaded for brakes or whatever you want to put on there. It's got a little like detent, so press the detent in and then just start turning the muzzle device counterclockwise, I believe. Let's just, no, lefty-loosey. So lefty-loosey on that, righty-tighty, and you just kind of turn that until it fits in one of those detents. So that's about all I wanted to mention with this rifle. Most of what you can get out of this rifle that I wanted to review, like disassembly and that kind of thing, I already have in my Type 81 review, so check that one out. These things are on sale right now for $1,000, which in my opinion is actually a pretty good deal because for a semi-automatic rifle that shoots a common-ish cartridge, that's kind of inexpensive and reliable, is really hard to find in Canada. We don't have ARs and that kind of thing anymore. So the choices are limited, very limited on what you can get. If you wanted a reliable, cool semi-automatic rifle that kind of looks like an SVD Dragunov, but isn't quite right, but still looks pretty good, you definitely want to check these things out. The last of them are on sale right now for just under $1,000 each. In my opinion, it's a pretty good price. Thanks for watching.